Joining me now is the man who served as the Attorney General under Presidents George H.W. Bush and Donald Trump, Bill Barr. George W. Bush, I should note. Thank you so much, Mr. Attorney General, for being here. I want to ask you the question that we're talking about, which is how a 21-year-old Massachusetts National Air Guardsman had access to so much sensitive information.
Well, it is stunning, and it points to a problem that's endemic in our national security structure in Washington, D.C. It's partly just the dissemination of information within agencies, the idea that, if there's really a good reason to spread this thing out, everyone will will do a better job if they're fully aware. And so it's too easy to get access to this stuff. And secondly, technology, as John was saying, plays a big role in this. The more that's put in systems and the more people you have involved in maintaining the systems, the more you're spreading around the information. But hopefully this will be a wake-up call. I mean, we've had a number of wake-up calls. There was the Chelsea Manning case and so forth. That involved volumes of documents. But this should really wake people up because this is very sensitive information. It's military information, intelligence information, and diplomatic information. And in a point where we're certainly not directly involved in the conflict, but we have a lot at stake in it.
Yeah, and it's recent information as well. I think that's what's really alarming to a lot of national security officials. When he's in court tomorrow, what kind of charges do you think you're going to see?
Well, it seems from the language used by the Attorney General, it seems it'll be violations of the Espionage Act, the statutes that cover the handling of national defense information. And I'm glad that he's going to be tried in the federal court system rather than court-martialed. And as Evan was saying, I think the Eastern District of Virginia is the perfect place to try this case.
What kind of punishment do you think, if he is charged with something from the Espionage Act or something? I mean, does that look like life in prison? What are we talking about here?
I mean, it could be effectively life in prison. Chelsea Manning got 35 years, and many people thought some people thought that was lenient. So I would look for something substantially higher than that. Assuming this is the guy and he's convicted. I also don't think that we've seen the whole picture yet. Maybe we have, but it seems to me some of these documents spread across social media, and it's not really clear who was involved in taking him from the chat room or whatever it was called on Discord and giving it further dissemination. And the other thing I'm interested in is the Russian role in this. I mean, we didn't see it online, but apparently the Russians may have found some of it and engaged in some disinformation by changing the documents. So I think that is part of the story that we have to find out more about.
But, we were just talking about the intelligence community, with as well-funded as it is, the fact that they didn't notice this for so long and that maybe potentially other adversaries noticed it beforehand. Why, in your sense, did they not notice this beforehand?
Well, I think what John said is right. I mean, there are restrictions on monitoring U.S. outlets and so forth, but still, it seems to me through keywords and other things, attention should have been drawn to discussions of current conditions in Ukraine, and maybe someone should have looked. It was on 4chan, for example, and I think, and that's an outlet that should be monitored.